Yo, it's Andre. Anyway, I'm here. I'm making this video to answer one of my commenters. They wanted me to make a video. They wanted me to make a video of. He said, "Why do people use the word misogyny or misogynist too much?" So he wanted me to make a video about that. So okay, I'll answer your question. The world system, society, tries to get people to believe a certain narrative. You know, they lie about all kinds of stuff. That's right, they lie about all kinds of stuff. They want every person, male or female, to believe that narrative. Males are harder to trick than females because, see, females are vulnerable, men aren't. Men are proud by nature, so we can't really be conditioned to be. It's hard to brainwash us, to say it in the simplest way. So when they say you're a misogynist, you know, they are using that as an excuse to get men to follow their narrative, or they will outcast them, basically. So misogynist is just a term, even though it means man who hates woman. They use that term loosely. They use that term for almost anything, just to use as a tactic to punish men for not following the lies of society. Men who see beyond the bullshit, men who see beyond the, lying, the conditioning, the court systems, how they try to set men up to get into a relationship just so they can steal their wealth, and to reward the woman with the money and the children. I see this happen to countless men. Yeah, there's a reason why a lot of men never had to experience any of that. It's because men like us seen that happen to many men. Even from boys, we paid attention to our surroundings and saw how males were treated. So anyway, they only say misogyny because if we go against anything that they disagree with, if we go against the narrative of society, they will say, you're a misogynist. So that word is pretty much, that word is used as a shaming tactic, an agenda. But here's why they're stupid, right? That only works on men that care about what others think of them. Many men would not succumb to the system, and they're proud of it. I'm proud of it. And so there's others like me out there. We are proud of who we are, and we're going to call out BS when it needs to be called out. We're not ashamed. But you said to me, why do they call us that, right? Because it's a shaming tactic to get us to do what they want. That's the origin of it. Yeah. There are men out there who are brainwashed by the system and who care what people think because they're brainwashed that way. So therefore, all they got to do is say you're a misogynist to get men to get in a line and continue following the narrative, continuing lying to themselves, continuing pass on that same lie to the next generation of boys. Ain't that messed up? Exactly. So yeah, misogynist, right? That term, yeah, it originally means men who hate women, but that term is used loosely now to, go against anyone who disagree with the narrative. Yep, that's what it boils down to. So you can't really take, the misogynist word cannot really be taken seriously anymore. Anyone that says it, just, dude, who cares, right? Because they're gonna call you a misogynist no matter what. They want you to be a crowd follower, a herd mentality. Women by nature have a herd mentality because they're servants of men by nature. So they have to follow some kind of power, which is another term for masculinity. Yeah. If there's not an individual man controlling them, then they'll seek to be controlled by the government, the collective of men who use the world system as a tactic to turn. The men that run their governments are part of the evil agenda. They're men who think like a female. They think with their emotion side. They think with their second mind, so they're unbalanced. And they team up with evil spirits, evil beings. The men of the government are sold out. And basically, yeah. The woman, if individual men don't trust the woman, because they're used as a weapon against men, the women run to the government, which is mostly men, to, act out their, unfair advantage that they're given in this society. But it's not just that. In general, females are just herd mentality. Guys aren't. So when they say misogynist, it's just a pathetic excuse to get men to follow their narrative. They think they can shame men into, going after, wanting to join the crowd But here's why they're stupid, right? Men by nature are not followers, we're masters. Females are servants, men are masters. It's just our true nature as men. We don't have a herd mentality. We have an individual self. So this applies to every man too. hmm Yep. So I'm gonna say this. They say that men, they call us misogynists because it's a shaming tactic. It have nothing to do with hating women. Any man that goes against the narrative, the lie, will be called a misogynist in general. Therefore, I say to you and fellow men out there, don't take that word seriously. Anyone that say that to you, don't even care. But then think of it this way too. It's just another insult. Like when you think about it, do you really care when people insult you with words? Do you really care what other people think of you, or do you care about what you know about yourself? Exactly. We men by nature only care about what we know about ourselves. The opinions of others don't mean shit to us. We only care about what we know about ourselves. This is the true nature of us men. We're proud beings, which is good. Men are supposed to live life worry-free, trusting the true self within, the source. Not being sorry for anything. That is the true definition of masculinity. And men must continue being themselves, the true masculinity, and being proud of who they are. That's not evil, that's good. Society wants to control men, so that's why they make up all these terms and lies to condition us to be shameful, to not know ourselves. This is why they try to brainwash us from a child. The only way to get us to be deceived, they have to teach us from a child. That's why this child is so hell bent on brainwashing the masses. Well, they try to start as children, but even that's not guaranteed. Some people, dude, you can't deceive everybody. That's just the truth. But yeah. So when they call us misogynists, it's just another insult. People will insult somebody they don't like or that don't agree with their lie. So misogynist is just one of many insults. Remember that. So just like any insults, misogynists must never be taken seriously. You must never take whatever label they give you seriously. They're only saying that because they can't control you. They're jealous of you. They're mad at you. They're your enemy. Recognize that. So anyway, misogynist is always used out of context, majority of the times. Therefore, anyone who calls you that, they are just trying to get you to follow what they think is normal. The society's definition of normal instead of the reality, of what's really normal. That's right. So yeah, that's why they call a lot of men misogynists that are not misogynists. A lot of men just understand the true nature of females, yet they're called misogynists for that. See how ridiculous that is? Yeah. Those men are not misogynists. Those men are just honest. They're aware of the reality. Those men know the truth, and neither are they ashamed of the truth. They will live and die for the truth. Those men should be held to great honor. Oh yeah. So anyway, those that call you misogynists are only lying. Yeah, so don't believe or take them seriously. They don't. I might as well even say they don't even know what misogynist is, because they keep using that term out of context. Yeah. They call everything hating women. That makes no sense. But you gotta understand, women have her mentality. They don't have a complete self of their own. They are stupid beings. Any being that lives off emotion is chaos by itself. So any being that's of the emotion by itself, they're literally the definition of pure stupidity. There is no logic in emotion. Emotion itself is chaos itself. Chaos have no sense of direction on her own. So any person, just like woman, any man too, who's led by his emotion alone, the X chromosome part of himself instead of his Y chromosome. Any man who's controlled by his X chromosome is unbalanced, and he is an idiot. Yeah, women are idiots by default, but any man who thinks like a woman shares that same idiocy. Okay, remember, folks, women are made from the X part of us. Women are the embodiment of our second mind. That's what they represent. So, women are naturally stupid, but so are men who are led by their emotions. Men who are in the right state of mind are not stupid, but genius, smart, intelligent, uplifted, in their right state of mind. A man that is led by his mind beyond his emotion mind, is wise, is knowledgeable. A man who thinks like a woman, meaning a man who's led by his emotion, who's basically a woman in a man's body, is an idiot. Oh yeah, so anyway, I'm letting you know the difference, okay? Women are naturally stupid. Society also tries to condition men to be that way too, because they want to control men. They want to get a grip in men, so they have to raise men from birth to not know their true mind and only think with their emotion mind or second mind. That's why it's set up that way, because they want to control men. Yep. So remember, they call men the misogynists just to paint a narrative. They want us to be stupid too. Well, that's the end of this video. I answered your question, my brother. Peace.